won't tell anybody.
Yeah.
You could totally just
Where
tell
am
us.
I? Where? What? Yeah.
Do you like secrets as much as I do?
Do I?
Because I realize
Yeah.
that I love secrets.
You do?
I feel honored when someone shares a secret with me.
I'm a good secret keeper, despite what my wife would say.
She would not agree. We should
She
get her on the
thinks
phone.
I am a gas bag,
Yeah.
which I can be, but I'm a strange contradiction of I like to hear gossip,
Sure.
but then it goes in one ear and out the other, and I don't. I'll go home and she'll say, "What happened? And who'd you see?" And blah blah blah, and I'll go, I'll bury the lead, and then the next day she'll get off the phone with you and go, "How did you not tell me that?"
Right.
I forgot. Who cares?
Right. But that's why it's good that you guys have me.
Right.
If it weren't for me.
You introduced us.
We did. And
That's right.
secondly, I'm so excited because I understand that you have brought my wedding footage here today. Is that true?
Coffee just went up my nose.
John Slattery.
I gave you that footage.
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, I'm still working on it. How long have you been married now?
13 years.
13 years.
13 years. I believe 13, I think there's paper, there's gold, and 13 is celluloid.
We're going to have a screening. We're going to have a cellulite.
13 is definitely cellulite. Perfect. Anyway, no, I mean, don't even worry about it because you know what the good news is? We're still married.
Yeah.
And maybe if we had that footage.
I was going to say, if you see that footage, you're going to go, what the hell was I thinking?
That's a terrible idea.
This was a terrible wedding.
We should not be married.
Yeah.
It was a good wedding, though.
I sat next to Matt McGrath.
Every time I go see a play with Matt McGrath, as the lights are coming down, he whispers in my ear, I think you're really going to enjoy this. And that could be like a Holocaust play, a Neil
really
Simon
funny.
revival. It doesn't matter.
Excuse me for a minute.
Okay. Wow, that's a huge phlegm ball that just came flying out
just
of
to
you.
hit you. Did it hit you? Did it get on your shoe?
Sit up.
I like your clogs, by the way.
Silver.
I like a girl in clogs.
Do
Can I
you?
just say that? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I like a guy in clogs.
I don't like a guy in clogs.
What
Unless
about-
unless you're a nurse or a chef. And I don't know why chefs can get away with clogs. Why is that? Because they're on their feet and they're really comfortable? Why do people in kitchens wear clogs?
Because they give you good back support.
And doctors and nurses. Do they know something that the rest of us don't know?
First of all, I think doctors and nurses know a lot of things.
Yeah,
that
well,
we
doctors
don't know.
do, but chefs don't know that much, do they? There are a lot of times they're crazy too.
Do you like to eat?
I like eating. I like secrets and eating. I like to eat in secret.
I do too. In clogs.
In the dark.
I totally do.
Yeah, in
All
just
right.
a pair of clogs.
Yet we digress. Do you still audition for anything? What
Yeah.
happens now? Would you still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had an audition in a while.
Things aren't great. Right now.
Things aren't so good.
Did you ever do commercials?
I did a bunch of. That's how I got. That was my first when I got a job at that law firm.
Yeah.
I got a commercial. Long story short, I got a manager, a guy named Bob McGowan, who still manages people, has a great stable of actors, is a great guy.
Okay.
Very supportive. I mean, literally, like loaned me money.
Right.
I mean, like let me use his apartment to stay in. He was just really great to me. And I got the first commercial I auditioned for randomly
Right.
because I could roller skate.
Of course you could.
And
Why did you?
although
play?
I couldn't, I had these roller blades. I
Did
had
you
these
play hockey
weird.
growing up?
I played hockey growing up, and then my brother-in-law played hockey, and he had these roller blades. He just sort of riveted them onto his skates. No one had ever seen them before, and then he gave them to me, and so I used to skate around New York, like in midnight, probably stoned, with a hockey stick and a ball, and I'd go to like Washington Square Park, and anyway, I brought those things to this audition, and the guy goes, "I don't even need to see you put those things on." And I said, "Great," and I got the job, and it was the first audition that this Bob McGowan sent me on. He was like, and the only reason he sent me on it was because I was wearing a T-shirt with his hometown written on it. He was like, "Where'd you get that shirt?" I said, "My girlfriend lives in this town." He goes, "That's where I." Okay, fine. I'll send you on this one thing, and I ended up getting it, and that's how. And then that's how I got to be able to quit the law firm. So that's how I quit the law. My career in the law.
Right. It's probably better for everybody.
It is. It is. A lot of
At the
people
end of the day.
would be still sitting on death row. And yeah, I did commercials.
So that's the beginning. I feel like I met you around the time when you did Laughter on the 23rd Floor I think I was doing, or had just finished Jake's Women, another
Right.
Neil Simon play.
Right.
I
Maybe,
don't know.
Angels,
Naked Angels?
Naked Angels,
Naked
maybe, which I
Angels?
wasn't a member of, and I kind of
No.
always wished I was
I
because
know.
everybody knew each other and
We
I didn't know
did.
anybody.
I know. That was a great, but you know, I mean, that was me and Rob Morrow and Matthew Broderick and Kenny Lonergan
Right.
and Warren Leight and Gina
Robbie Bates.
Gershon and Robbie Bates and Joe Mantello. Like the list
Yeah.
was sort of
Mm-hmm.
an amazing who's who of young actors in New
And they
York
would do
at the time.
readings. They would do those readings Tuesdays at 9.
Yeah,
Isn't that what it was
which
called?
it still happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your name came up on a vote, and
Biggest douchebag?
we
What
were
was
like,
it?
you know what?
Oh, you mean to be a member? And they were like,
Not for us.
Nah.
Not for us.
Close, but no.
No,
You're not, we
no.
like you.
We already have somebody like him.
But you're
No.
not a naked angel.
You're not. You're just an angel. I remember seeing you in 3 Days of Rain, and I still feel this way. I remember leaving the theater and waiting in. Did you do that at South Coast Rep the first time?
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting in the waiting area, the little cafe, waiting for you guys to come out. And I remember thinking to myself, I cannot believe I'm friends with that man. I cannot
And then
believe.
I came out and walked right past you. And you were like, oh,
And I'm not.
turns out I'm not. If I had known you were thinking that, I would have done exactly that.
I know.
Just for the laugh.
I know. For the comedic.
Hey, who's that girl?
Never saw her before.
She's cute. Bye.
Yes. And I really remember feeling that I had seen something so other and so beautiful. I think of that, you know, as much as you think about me in the
As
ocean
Lucy.
at Gilgo Beach, yes, or me as Lucy Van Pelt. But
Or, no, actually, you're right. In the ocean at Gilgo
ocean.
Beach. That's as often.
this moment that is crystallized in your mind forever as like, if I have to choose one takeaway, it's either
I still tilt my head to the angle where you were. It's like 10 o'clock on a clock.
the listeners are going to be like, we get it. It was really funny, but we weren't there, and we
weren't
can't
there.
see
But that's
what
how
John's
10 o'clock
doing.
helps.
No,
People,
that's good.
listeners.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to center yourself. But I do feel like that, and not to embarrass you, but I still feel like that is something that to this day, many years later, I will be walking down the street and I will think about you in that play. And I don't know if I've ever had a chance to thank you for that, but
Wow.
thank you for that.
About time.
Yeah.
That was about 43 years ago.
47 years ago, and
Yeesh.
it was beautiful. And also in Rabbit Hole, that was a really beautiful performance and a devastating play.
That was
and
a
I
tough play.
remember,
Thanks.
I remember realizing when I went to see that play that for people who don't know it, it's a play about a couple who lose a child
Mhm.
and are trying to figure out how to stay together.
They have their separate ways of dealing.
That's right.
Cynthia Nixon's character would fold do the laundry, the kids' laundry, over and over again, folding and putting it in the drawer, taking it out, washing it, doing it again. And I couldn't even go in the kids' room, but I couldn't stop watching this Christmas videotape that I had taken, and we needed a kid's voice in rehearsal. Dan Sullivan was directing and said, "Would you have a kid about this age? Would you mind just record, just let him read the lines so we can have something to work off of in rehearsal, and we'll find an actor to do it later." And we goofed around at him. He was like probably 6 at the time. He was 6. And because it was 10 years ago, by the way. And so
Because
guess how old
Harry's
he is
27 now.
Because he's 14 now.
Anyway, I realized it was Harry's voice.
Yeah, it was Harry's voice. And then we just used it. Then we just redid it when they were like, that it turned out pretty well. Why don't you guys just goof around with it? And we did, and they re-recorded it and we used it. So, yeah, because I thought, well, what the hell I'm going to be? That's what I'm going to be pretending.
Yep.
Anyway, that was, yeah. I'm really glad. The play that I'm going to do in the fall is not that kind of a play. I was just reading about Jeff Daniels and Michelle Williams doing Blackbird.
Right.
And how.
What is that about?
That's about, it's about a man who used to have a relationship with she's now a woman. She was a kid at the time, not like young, like underage, I think. I don't really know. I haven't seen the play.
Okay.
But it's heavy, and it's like the actor has to really go down the rat hole.
Right.
And, and Jeff Daniels was talking about how difficult that can be if you really want to commit to this thing. If you really go there, it rules your life and it just kind of destroys you, which rabbit hole did to me.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I mean, it's it's boohoo. Oh, I'm an actor in a play on Broadway. It's if you really do, if you really want to invest in it emotionally, it's difficult because it's obviously you have to sort of trick yourself into getting in that emotional state because no healthy psyche wants to go to that place, and so you have to figure out a way to make that repeatable.
I know, and when you're in a long run, it's so challenging. I would often, I'd have some piece of music that really worked for a while, and then it runs out, and then you're like, shit, there went,
It seems like all for the last, I did Betrayal, which is similar, you finding out that your wife has been sleeping with your best friend for 5 years.
That would be awful.
That was heavy, and then
what if
Rabbit
Talia
Hole,
was sleeping with me for 5 years?
That would be
awesome.
Awesome.
That would be better.
I would not be upset.
So Roger Sterling must have been more fun in that way because that was a long run with one character, but he was really complicated but funny.
Yeah, really funny.
I mean, Ham and others had to kind of go to dark places a lot, but I feel like you got to kind of
come in, say something funny, make a fake drink, and then say some other funny thing, and then leave.
I have a question for you.
Is this where you ask me, what were you drinking and smoking in that show?
No, that is absolutely not. I know it's real cigarettes and real booze.
Did you wear a merkin? That's what everyone...
You taught me what a merkin was, actually, and I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for your performance in 3 Days of Rain and for letting this naive teenage girl know what a merkin is.
You're welcome.
I think I once called the great Sondheim actress Ethel Merkin.
Good old Ethel Merkin.
And I was like, Ethel Merkin. They were like, no. When you started directing Mad Men, and you then, how many did you direct with those?
6.
A bunch. 6 of them.
5. I can't remember.
Okay. So
5.
How did you, would someone else kind of come on set when you were acting in it and become your director during that time? Or like, what would you do?
And I would just do a take and then go look at it. Or do 2 in a row and then go look at it and make sure I was, sitting in the right chair and my pants were on. And it was tough at first. It was a lot to think about.
Also, I don't know about you. I don't like even looking at myself. It's very hard for me when I've had the privilege.
I don't like looking at you either.
Yes,
it's really hard. We're sitting across the table right now, and this is brutal.
Do you want to tell them about the screen that we put up halfway so you wouldn't have to look at me
anymore? You said there would be a screen, and there isn't. You know what? That's good. It's really good for... I was just talking to a friend who's an actor and a producer on a TV show, and she was saying that initially it's jolting to look at yourself and you go, especially if none of us is getting any younger, and you go, oh my God, is there a better shot of me?
Right.
And then you just by repetition, you go, that ceases to become interesting or a source of anything other than just, okay, we have to cut to me. Okay, that's fine. Okay, then, and you lose that kind of, you get over it. Yeah.
So vanity, you sort of lose vanity or despair, whatever that is. For me, it's probably a little of both, right?
Because you literally watching yourself, your face sliding off of your skull down into your lap, which is literally like you go, wow, look at that thing hanging off the bottom there. What is that?
That's my chin.
Holy shit.
That's actually my chin.
Yeah.
That's not true. You're so stupidly handsome on camera. It's ridiculous.
Look,
but
it doesn't.
That may be true for somebody
very nice
else.
of you to say. Everybody's self-conscious about that kind of thing. No, it does get you over it, and you also realize that you are just a piece of the puzzle. I mean, actors put a lot of pressure on themselves, and I got to get it right, and and then someone's yelling, "We got time for one more take, and then lunch." We got to get out of here, and it's not really conducive to feeling spontaneous and relaxed all the time. And once you see yourself in the edit room, and you go back and forth, and you go, "Oh, this is like there's 5 different ways we could cut this," and it kind of takes the burden of all that away. You go, "Oh, if I just get close, they'll cut this thing together. It'll be fine." It made it much easier for me to act on camera.
Was that show, Aaron Sorkin has the reputation of he writes long, beautiful monologues for people, and he really wants the comma where the comma is, and would cut. Was your show like that too?
Yeah, to a point where I would just say, no, we're not doing that again. You know,
I can't do that again, or we
well,
can't
I'm
do
not.
it. Right.
If I was directing, I'd go, well, no, we're not going back and doing that. I'm not going back and putting the person through that. They just did a great take, and
Right.
and they inverted 2 words, something, fuck off. We're not
Right.
doing that again.
And they
and
were
there
okay
are
with
people
that.
who, well,